Good morning, good day, and hello. Checking in today with the world seemingly on fire, proverbially, and in some places and spaces, literally. And I check in as an individual, as a Black man who is a husband, a father, a son, a brother, and it is very real. Some of the discussions that are taking place right now, the fear that, I live with of being judged, ridiculed, persecuted, prosecuted, and perhaps murdered because of what I look like is something that's very real to me. And it's something that I've been aware and conscious of for a great deal of my life. I can remember stories, growing up, hearing about my grandfather, who was born and raised in Texas, having a rope tied around his neck in the dead of night, escaping by the hair on his chinny chin and running, and didn't stop running until he reached California and never went back to Texas. And so much so that when his mother passed away, he did not attend her funeral. I can remember being the oldest cousin at a family reunion in Clear Lake. And when I say the oldest cousin, I was 10 years old, 11 years old, and walking, some of my younger cousins down to the lake, while the elders stayed back playing pinochle and dominoes and all those sorts of things, and walking down the street and people driving by in big lifted pickup trucks and calling us niggers. And my mind begins to race and think, I know that I can run and I can get away, but I got, kids with me who are 4, 5, 6 years old. I don't know, I'm not certain they're going to be able to get away. So now I'm formulating plans on how to scurry them away to safety so I can stay and fight and hope that they can get away. These are, just a few examples of some of the things that we live with, that I've lived with, that I've experienced. As a leader of an organization, I also hold a responsibility to step into a space of service and attempting to find a way forward. And at Inside Circle, that's who we are, and that's what we do. We search for ways to move forward. There are a lot of places and spaces where we can judge, we can talk about what's wrong, we can ask about solutions, we can blame and point fingers about who's not doing what and who should be doing what. And to a degree, that serves a purpose and is a Band-Aid that might make, us feel better in the moment. But believe me when I tell you, this moment will pass. And the question is, what's next? Inside Circle is an organization. It is a movement that was born due to a race riot in prison. Not just a riot, a race riot in prison, where people were engaged in hand-to-hand combat because of what you looked like, because of how you happened to be born. And people died. And out of that, what was born was Inside Circle, and people who historically viewed one another as enemies, viewed one another as adversaries, came together and found space in a chapel in a maximum security prison to sit down and begin to find answers. And those answers began with self. Those answers begin with me looking at what my responsibility is, not what the problem is, not what the issue is, not what someone has done to me or has not done to me or has given me or has not given me, but what am I culpable for? What is my part? What is my role? What is my shadow? Where are my dark places? Where am I complicit? Where am I overtly a participant in what's going on in my life and what's going on around me, and where am I subversively complicit in what's happening and what's going on. Where am I not saying something? Where am I not showing up? How am I showing up? And how do I want to show up? So that's what we do. As someone who has done my own work and continues to do my work and support that work in other people, the check-in today and the challenge today and moving forward is to do your own work. It's not to point fingers at what someone else is not doing, because that's never going to solve anything. It's about me sitting down and figuring out, what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm not doing? And how is that serving me? Because from that space, I can move forward and really be of value and really be of assistance and really be a part of any solution moving forward. Minus me doing my own work and looking at myself, minus you doing your own work and looking at yourself and figuring out what you need to do as an individual. What are your dark places? What are your secrets? This moment too shall pass. And we'll go back to whatever the world looks like post-COVID. We'll go back to the things that keep us busy and occupy our minds and allow us collectively to continue to bury our head in the sand. So what my intention is, and what Inside Circle will continue to do, is provide spaces for individuals to do their work and support and encourage individuals to do their work, to step into the fire and look at that ugliness of self and begin to find a way to claw back into connection with humanity. And I'm not saying that is the answer, and I'm not saying that we are the answer, but what my experience teaches me is that this is a part of the answer.